Okay, so this Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, which is taking place at the AT&T Stadium in Texas on July 20th, broadcast on Netflix of all places, will actually be a real professional boxing match, and the result will show up on their boxing records after the fight. Now, there are a few differences to a normal pro boxing match. It will be over 8 2-minute rounds, and both fighters will be wearing 14-ounce gloves, but no headgear. Knockouts are allowed because, again, it is an officially sanctioned pro contest. How do I feel about this? Well, a lot of people are expressing tremendous outrage. They're saying it's disgusting, it's terrible, so on and so forth. They're really angry at Jake Paul. My take on it is this. Mike Tyson has never been what his most fanatical supporters have tried to make him out to be, which is some type of noble, graceful champion, who was ferocious, yes, but he had a dignity about him. No, Mike Tyson, most of his career, has always been drawn towards the trashy, the criminal, the degenerate, so on and so on. I'm not saying that as an insult to Mike Tyson. I'm just saying it as a reality. Okay? And I was a fan growing up of WWF, so I don't necessarily have an issue with fighters being involved in trashy stuff. And of course, Mike Tyson was in the WWF. In fact, I'm not sure whether it was WWE or F at the time, because obviously they changed their name due to the conflict with the World Wildlife Fund. But yeah, he was in the WWE, let's just call it, during the Attitude Era. He did a little bit with Stone Cold where he's going back and forth with him. Then he was like a double agent inside Degeneration X, where it seemed like he'd aligned himself with Triple H and China and Shawn Michaels. But then he turned on him and knocked Shawn Michaels out. Obviously, this is all, WWE play acting, and turned out to be Stone Cold's friend in the end, right? I remember it well. It was hilarious. So Mike Tyson's always been like that. He's always had off-key characters around him. He obviously enjoys having off-key characters around him. The image that Cus D'Amato, Jim Jacobs, Bill Caton, Steve Lott, and people like that constructed for Mike Tyson was never the real Mike. Mike knew how to put on a good act while he was around those guys. But in reality, he was a grimy street kid from Brownsville, Brooklyn. He still is a grimy street kid from Brownsville, Brooklyn. That's who he is. That's not to say that's all he is, but that's definitely a core part of his personality. And so him involving himself in something like this with Jake Paul, this, whatever you want to call it, freak show event, most of Mike Tyson's pro boxing career was a freak show, folks. Some of these younger boxing fans who look back at Mike Tyson's career, they don't realize that. And of course, a lot of the Mike Tyson fanboys who were around to witness his career while he was still in his prime and what have you, they just got this rose-tinted glasses thing going on. But no, Mike Tyson, most of his career, it was like a circus freak show type scenario. That's what it was. Weird trash talk, and it was saying all kinds of crazy things. I mean, go look at what he said to Razor Ruddock in the run-up to their rematch. I found it funny, even though it was weird as hell. So he was always into just saying outlandish things, doing outlandish things in and out of the ring, being involved in, WWE and all sorts of trashy stuff. And so this fight with Jake Paul is in keeping with what Mike Tyson has always been. Now, as far as whether the commission should allow it, it's a difficult one because we don't know how well they've assessed Mike Tyson. The Mike Tyson who fought Kevin McBride, that was his last pro fight, would have beaten Jake Paul. And he was completely washed up at that point. That was, damn near 20 years ago. But he would have still beaten Jake Paul. I mean, he would have destroyed Jake Paul. Mike Tyson is, nearly 60 now? He's obviously in very good shape for somebody his age. But he certainly moves like an old man. If you've seen him running, they've been very clever and careful to select certain clips of him hitting the pads where he looks pretty good, but there are other clips with him on the pads where, again, he's moving like an old man. When you get old, you start losing the fluidity of movement and the range of movement that you used to have when you were younger, and you can see that in Mike Tyson now. You could see it when he fought Roy Jones in that exhibition. Mike Tyson looked like an old man. He came out with his trunks pulled up really high, like an old age pensioner. Why do old people do that, by the way? Do their torsos shrink as they get old or something? I don't know. Because they always end up with their pants up by their necks, It's crazy. So yeah, we don't know how well the commission have assessed Mike Tyson. Obviously, they're taking some precautions, 14-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds rather than 3-minute rounds. Have they seen Tyson spar behind the scenes? Is that what they're basing it on? Because, for example, if you're somebody that doesn't have any or very much amateur experience in the UK and you want to turn pro, the British board, they used to do this anyway, would make you box in front of them against a professional in a sparring session for a few rounds just to see that you're competent. In other parts of the world, they don't even have that level of quality control. But what level of quality control do they have in Texas? I don't know. Bear in mind, Conor Benn has got a Texas license, and we know about his recent issues. Dylan White has got a Texas license, and now a damn near 60-year-old Mike Tyson has got a Texas license. So perhaps their standards are not that high. But yeah, all in all, I don't feel strongly one way or the other about this fight being allowed to take place, to be honest with you. Because it's not an ordinary 60-year-old. And he's not going up against a top professional. He's going up against a novice boxer. A novice boxer that has some athleticism about him, but he's still a novice boxer. Yes, I think there's the very real possibility that Mike Tyson could get knocked out in this fight if he gets hit clean by this young, strong guy. But again, with the precautions that they've taken, the 14-ounce gloves, the 2-minute rounds, and also I can't imagine the referee is going to allow Mike Tyson to take too much punishment in there if it starts getting on top for him. So I don't know. If this was a 60-year-old Mike Tyson against an experienced boxer, or let's say an up-and-coming prospect who had an extensive amateur career, then I'd be dead against it. But because it's this novice with virtually no amateur background at all, he does have some talent, but, lost to Tommy Fury. Anyway, you get the picture. I don't have strong feelings about it either way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below.